I'm Joey Belviso with Baines Roofing, and you're tuned in to Only Roofers Podcast.
Welcome to the Only Roofers Podcast. My name's Elizabeth and my co-host Vince.
Hi, guys.
Today we have Joey from Baines Roofing. Welcome.
Thank you for having
Joey,
me.
nice coming on.
Thank you.
So, how long have you been at Baines Roofing?
I've been here about 5 years now, coming up on 5 years.
Wow,
What
congratulations.
What do you do at Bange?
I am on the commercial sales side now. I was on the residential side for 4 years, and last year I had the opportunity to switch over to the commercial side, so that's where I'm at now.
So let's talk a little bit about that switch, because it's different sales, so on.
Totally
so
different
what's
market.
it been like?
A learning curve, definitely a learning curve. You're going from seeing homeowners every day to now board members and HOAs
Wow.
and different contracts written with language that,
Were you
needs-
learning a new language now?
It is. It's definitely different. We have
Sales style?
Sales style. I mean, everything is completely different than dealing with your traditional homeowner.
What made you jump into the challenge?
I kind of got thrown into the fire. It's kind of similar to how I started my journey with the residential side. I started residential roofing 3 months before Irma,
Wow.
2 months before Irma in 2017.
It's a good time to get in.
It was a great time to get in, but I was thrown into the fire there.
Yeah.
And I figured, I got the opportunity from Paul to basically come over to the commercial side and says, here's your baby and run it. So I said,
Wow.
okay, here we go. So that's
Nice.
really where I was.
How has it been being with a company that you've been able to grow in such a short amount of time, right? Not very many people get to experience that, especially in our industry.
Sure, no, it's amazing. The opportunities are, Paul lays the groundwork and he allows us to, not only give us the resources to go out and do what we do, but, from a financial standpoint and, just being able to do different things and providing for the family in ways that I never have been able to. I appreciate everything that they've done for me and my family, absolutely.
Wow, I mean, it's very rare that we have sales reps. We usually have
Right.
owners here.
Sure.
So it's interesting to hear the dynamic from a sales rep who has developed a career,
Yes,
a life-changing career within a company.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite thing about roofing sales?
I'm not the type of guy that I don't like the same thing every day, and I never see the same thing. It's always every day is a different challenge, and I don't know what I'm going to that day. As much as you want to take the address that you're going to and type it into Google Earth,
Yeah.
I mean, you could be going to a duplex, or you could be going
Right.
to a 40-story high-rise, or you can be going to a
Wow.
neighborhood with 110
Right.
units. I mean, it's just, you don't know what you're going to at any given time.
Is that challenging? Do you find that challenging? I know you enjoy not having the same thing.
Do you
but
have mild ADD in order to be able to keep up with all of that?
Because sometimes it's good to have a challenge and having something new every day, but it's also get into a structure, build something where it's very structure like sales wise. It helps a lot of guys structure to have structure.
Yeah.
Is that difficult? What's that like?
So, it's definitely different. The transition was different. I have a great team that works with me and keeps me kind of in line. I'm an all over the place kind of guy, and I'm a go type.
Is your truck messy or clean?
My truck is, well, I have
That's a
kids.
personal question.
No, I have kids. I have a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old that keeps the back of my truck
It's
pretty
destroyed.
messy. Yeah, it's never clean. I got wrappers on the floor at
Yeah.
all times, and but as far as business stuff in my truck, it's not really there. My team keeps me pretty organized when it comes to
Wow.
that.
Nice.
And I even have a guy that has to come in and clean my desk off once a week. So
Oh my
Is that,
gosh.
is that a structure you built, or is that something you sort of stepped into and were handed those?
a little bit of both. I think the team that I'm with understands me, and I understand them. So for us, I think the chemistry that we've built over the last year, it's huge. It's very big in the sense of where I'm trying to go. They know where I want to go as a company. The truth is, I want the commercial division within Baines Roofing to outpace the residential side, which we are known
And you're
as
at
a
the
residential
forefront of
roofing.
this now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Pretty.
What are some ways that you're looking to incorporate your ideas, right? So going from residential now into commercial, now you want to outperform residential.
Sure.
What is number one thing on your mind?
I think the number one thing for us right now is just keeping quality, keeping the quality up. I mean, are we the lowest priced guy in town? No, and I don't want to be. Because at the end of the day, you have to cut corners at some point to get to the price point where you want to be. So the last thing that I want to do is go out, find a job, come back to the office and figure out how I'm going to do this job to cut a corner, to make the job fit, where I have to maybe pull some supervision off the ground, which obviously when you're dealing with a project of these size, people are still living in these condos. People are still living in these apartment buildings.
Yeah.
They are still,
liabilities.
we need those guys on the ground because safety is our number one thing. So I think if we keep our quality up, not dropping pricing, not getting crazy on that aspect, I think if we just keep sticking to the plan of quality, I think everything else will kind of fall in place.
Do you think that safety is less of a concern, like not even on most people's mind when it comes to residential?
Yeah.
Like, how often do you even have I've never even seen a safety meeting really on a residential job ever. But on construction, it's mandatory. And that's, I saw 2 guys last month die on Facebook, like people who were my friends on Facebook that are roofers, from falling off of just regular residential roofs. Yeah. How do you think that now being more, you're being taught more about roof safety, how do you think maybe you could implement some of that for your residential team so they could be more safe and go home to their families?
Before I started in this industry, I was never on a roof. I was scared of 1-story houses. That's
now
the
he
truth.
does 40-story buildings.
And those are awesome because those I'm walking out onto a roof from an elevator. So, I think the biggest thing for guys in the industry that have been doing this a long time, I find it that the guys that fall on roofs, and I'm guilty of this, is the guy that gets too comfortable, right? You have to treat a roof like you did on day one. Day one, you're looking around, you don't want to get too close to the edge, and the truth is, we get comfortable.
Yeah.
So for the comfort, you can never get too comfortable. It's like with anything in life. If you get too comfortable and complacent, things happen and things start falling by the wayside. I think it all correlates back to the roof, treating the roof today, whether you've been in the business 20, 25 years, 30 years, whatever, 5 years, doesn't matter. I think if you treat that like day one, I think you have a better chance of.
What did you do before roofing?
Yeah.
I was in the food business.
Yeah, I was like.
So I came from selling food. I worked for a company called Cisco, which everyone knows Cisco, and it's funny.
How long were you with them?
I was with them for 5 years
Gotcha.
before this, and David Baines and I have been friends for a very long time, and the ongoing joke with that is David tried to hire me 2 years prior to me working for his dad, and David brought it to me saying, hey man, you need to come sell roofs. And I'm like, I'm not selling any roofs, man. I'm selling lettuce and tomatoes. I'm doing my thing. And that was it.
You.
Right? So then 2 years
You want
goes
some
by.
lettuce and tomatoes?
No, yeah, exactly. I'm like, no way. I'm working for one of the biggest companies in the food industry. I'm good, dude, But the truth is,
I sell a lot of lettuce.
Yeah, no, I mean,
they call me Lettuce King.
That's
A
it.
ton of lettuce.
So, I mean, that's where it kind of, and a couple years after that, someone else came to me and said, hey, you need to take a look at the roofing business. Started riding with a couple of the guys at Paul's company, and then it was, hey, Paul, let's go. I'm ready,
Can I ask the question then?
Yeah, of course.
Why not David?
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. Paul had such a reputation in the industry,
And David was just getting started, right?
David was getting started, I knew David. David and I were friends, but I didn't realize the drive that David had
Initially.
And David to me now is a mentor to me.
Aw.
He's taught me a lot of things along the way, not just in business, in life itself, and I respect him greatly for that. And I think it goes both ways in the sense of me working for his dad or working for him. I mean, obviously he's got in the back of his mind, it's always like he throws jabs at me every now and then. But the truth is, we respect each other on a brotherly level now, and I greatly appreciate everything that he's brought to me over the last 5 years.
Okay, well, if someone who is looking to go from, let's say, another trade, such as working for Cisco or maybe pharmaceutical sales or whatever like that, what would you say, what advice would you give to them about getting into roofing sales?
I'm not working towards a number that I'm going to get capped out on financially. So for me, to not have a cap on the financial standpoint of where I can go, that for me, it's like a free bird. I can literally write my own ticket.
Yeah.
You know? So, a lot of these companies that are corporately ran, not necessarily in the construction industry, but whatever trade it is, most of them have a cap. They always want to tell you, oh, you can make 200 grand, but working 90 hours a week to make 100 grand, that makes no sense to me.
They set
Quality of
ceilings.
life. Yeah.
So for the average sales guy, who isn't an overachiever, they can make that money, and that's going to be their ceiling because that was their ceiling.
What was your biggest sales record for the year?
2020, I sold 6.4 million in 2020.
What a
residential.
20.
Yes.
Residential. A little bit of commercial.
Tile, boys.
That was my first into commercial. I did sell a commercial job that year. That was my first commercial job. That was 1.7 million. And it was just, that year everything fell into play, and that's what kind of got me.
So stop selling lettuce for pennies on the dollar.
Sell tile.
And
Quick
come
question.
sell some tile
Yes.
for 6.4 million.
You sold 6.4 million, a lot of IRMA claims, I'm sure. Being in a storm market, but the local guy in the storm market, what's it like? How do you sell to the homeowners when there's a bunch of storm chasers come into your town and try to swoop up business? What's your tips to that guy on the other side of that camera?
I think that the most important thing is name recognition within where we're at. South Florida is a very tricky market in the sense of everybody thinks that everything is a scam. Everybody,
that's true.
Everybody, there's not one thing that happens down there that you're like, and I'm guilty of it myself. When somebody tells you something in South Florida, it's like
scammer.
Yes, exactly. So I feel for us, with having a brand that been around 30 plus years as a company, everybody in Dade and Broward County knows that if we call Paul Baines Roofing, we're not getting that scam.
Yeah.
And there's so much of it in our market, and it's not going away anytime soon.
Absolutely
So
not.
I think the name recognition,
the
brand is what sets us apart from the storm chaser.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I love it. Last piece of advice, anything you want to say to someone out there?
Just keep working hard. I mean, that's the truth. If you keep going, you're going to succeed. There's nothing to it.
Perfect.
Alrighty, guys. Great interview. Keep working that hustle muscle. Thank you all for watching another episode of the Only Roofers podcast. Thank you for joining us today, Joe, and sharing your story.
See you
guys on the next one.